When Lincoln resolves to issue the Emancipation Proclamation in September of 1862, he calls his cabinet together and he tells them, I have finally resolved, I'm going to issue this Emancipation Proclamation. We're going to free the Confederacy's slaves. It's a dramatic moment. It's probably the most important single decision a president has to make in terms of domestic policy in the 19th century. And he explains it to his cabinet in terms of what he called a covenant, a vow he had made with God, that if the Union Army was successful in driving the Confederate Army of Robert E. Lee back across the Potomac River, which they did at the Battle of Antietam, just a week before Lincoln has this cabinet meeting, Lincoln said he had made this vow that he was going to send the proclamation after him, and now he was going to fulfill that vow. Now, this astonished the members of his cabinet. They were a bunch of hard-bitten politicians. They weren't used to this kind of thing. And one of them actually said, would you mind repeating yourself? Did I hear you correctly? And Lincoln said, yeah, I made a vow to my maker that I would issue this proclamation, and now I am going to do it. Are there other moments like that in American history that show a direct influence of a president's faith on decision making?
I think there are multiple examples. One that comes to mind from more recent years for us that do history as well as politics is President Ronald Reagan. And after he survived the assassination attempt, he said that he believed that God had spared him to do something even more than he had been doing thus far as president. And then if you think about the relationship that he had already started, but then he really went on to forge with various leaders, including Pope John Paul II, to wage the what ended up being a winning act in the Cold War. And of course, Reagan couldn't have known that going in, but he said he had faith in God, and he then had good policy. But it was very much dramatic. He talked about it. He talked about the divine plan. He would talk about the DP with various advisors, and he got that from one of them originally, but then he liked it so much he used it. So he definitely comes to mind.